In Hello Roger, we offer a listening ear to viewers with problems. This time the question was as follows: how do I tile the wall behind my sink? Does installing a backsplash yourself seem too ambitious? Roger definitely proves you wrong. In a first step, you will want to protect your bathroom furniture, as the adhesive, which you will use later, can cause stains. For this you use tape and protective film. There is also masking film equipped with tape, which can also avoid frustrations. To determine how many tiles you need, accurately measure the surface to be tiled.
If you have measured what you want to tile, don't forget to add 10% cutting loss.
Also check if your bathroom furniture is properly aligned. You do this with a level tool. Before you start, arrange the wall tiles first. You can see if everything is correct and mix if there are color differences to ensure that this comes out nicely. Before you prepare the tile adhesive, it's best to also choose which tile pattern you want to use. Do you opt for herringbone, block pattern or half brick pattern? Here we choose for half brick pattern, where we place tiles horizontally.
Before we start tiling, we check if the substrate is suitable and not too absorbent. We do this with a simple test. We will smear water with a brush on the lime and then see if it dries quickly. If it dries too quickly, we will keep it out of the front lane.
If the test shows that the substrate is certainly very absorbent, you use a universal deep primer. This will ensure optimal adhesion of the counterglue, providing a strong and durable bond. Before applying the primer, you make the surface completely flat and smooth with some sandpaper, ensuring no bumps or irregularities. You make the surface dust-free. Now apply the primer evenly with a roller or a brush. Then let the primer dry. Always check the packaging to respect the drying time of the product. While the primer is carefully drying, you can carefully size the tiles. Draw a line where it needs to be cut. With a manual tile cutter, you cut them in two without much dust. Place the tiles on the tile cutter. Place the cutting wheel on the line and make a cut. By applying pressure to the tile with the tile cutter, it will break on the cut. Now your tile's right length. Once the primer is dry, you can prepare the tile adhesive. Make sure you use tile adhesive that is suitable for your type of tiles. You can very easily find that information on the product's website. Here we use glue for ceramic tiles. Pour the required amount of powdered glue into a bucket. You mix the powder with water. Check the packaging to see how much water you will need. For a small area, you can use a simple trowel here. If you need to tile larger surfaces, you will therefore need a larger amount of glue and you can use a mixer. Mix the glue well until the mass is smooth and lump-free. Mix the product in a well-ventilated area. Wear a face mask or prepare the glue outside to prevent the dust from getting into the airways. If you have to tile a large area, pay close attention to open time, the time you have to apply adhesive. If the glue starts to dry, the tiles may not adhere well. Therefore, it's best to make smaller amounts of glue at a time. Apply the glue to the pre-treated wall. To do this, you need a glue comb. For smaller wall tiles from 15x15 cm to 20x25 cm, use a notch of 6. That means that the teeth have a width and a depth of 6 mm. Make straight vertical lines with the glue comb. Rotating lines can air seal, preventing you from having a full bond. With light wall tiles, double gluing is not indeed necessary, so you don't need to glue the tiles. Use spacers to always maintain the same distance between the tiles. Place the wall tiles in the adhesive. These ceramic tiles do not have straight edges, therefore the grout may not have the same width everywhere. Place the spacers upright so you can easily remove them later. By using a rubber mallet, you can carefully lay the tiles in the tile adhesive in the correct way. This ensures the tiles don't get damaged when tapped. The rubber mallets are suitable for ceramic tiles and natural stone. This wall has an integrated socket. We want to place this exactly on the tiles, so we will work out the location of the socket in these wall tiles. To work very securely, you carefully mark which pieces of tile need to be removed. Then you use an angle grinder and follow the lines. You can also nicely finish the corners. Make sure you use a grinding wheel that is suitable for the type of tiles you are using. Always use a continuous rim diamond saw blade for a smooth cut. Also, definitely make sure that the surface where you are grinding the tiles is properly protected. Turn off the electricity from the outlet and safely disconnect it so that it will lie on the tiles. Tap the wall tiles carefully and meticulously into the adhesive mortar bed, and then continue. Proceed in the same way with the other tiles around your socket. Mark, grind, place and tap, carefully and thoroughly. So the tiles of the backsplash are simply attached. Now you let the glue harden. We have some additional tiles left over and will therefore make a shelf behind the toilet. This way, the pink accent returns in small details. For this part, you will proceed in the same way. First, lay out the wall tiles. With a small raised wall, you can apply the tile adhesive to the tile itself. For this, you can again use a 6mm notched trowel. Apply the glue to the surface. Make sure again that you form straight lines. You can work without spacers because the tiles here do not have straight sides. A beautiful joint will also be formed this way. The tiles have been placed. Once the drying time of the glue has passed, we can proceed to the grouting. Make sure you also protect your bathroom furniture well before grouting. To grout properly, you will need a large bucket for mixing, the appropriate type of grout, clean water, a grouting spatula or a grout rubber float, and a sturdy trowel for application. Choose a grout color that matches your wall tiles. Here we opt for a white grout. On the packaging of the product, you will be able to find the correct proportions and measurements that are necessary for proper usage and optimal performance. To prepare the grout, mix the powder with water. You can use a trowel for this. Also, do not add all the water at once. This way, you can mix the grout very precisely. Remove the spacers and you can start grouting. Apply the grout to your grout rubber with a small trowel. Then, carefully smear the grout between the wall tiles, making sure to fill all the gaps completely. Apply the compound diagonally into the joint to prevent the grout from coming back out of the joint. Spread it in different directions so that the joints are fully filled. You can choose if you prefer to work with a grout rubber or a grout spatula. Pay extra attention to ensure the joints are nicely filled. Afterwards, it's best to remove as much grout from the tiles as possible, so you have to wash less off the tiles later. After a specified time, when your grout has somewhat dried out, you wash off the remaining material with clean water. Make circular motions when washing dishes. Ensure the surface does not get too wet, otherwise the grout might come back out of the joint. Refresh your water regularly so you can work with a clean sponge. When all the grout has been removed, there is often still a haze on the tiles. With a clean, damp mop or sponge, you can now remove that haze. You could potentially also use cement haze remover for this. For the tablet behind the toilet, you are going to work in the same way. Once the grout is completely dry, you can thoroughly finish. Remove all remaining remnants of grout. The edges can now be sealed with sanitary sealant. This is more resistant to moisture and mold than a silicone or acrylic sealant. You can choose among various colors. First, open the kit, place the nozzle on the tube and remove the top of the nozzle with a utility knife. Carefully place your cartridge in the caulking gun. Now apply sanitary sealant to the edges of the backsplash. Then you remove the excess product with stripping agent and a stripping rubber, stripping spoon or just with your finger. The work is done. Now I only have to dry it. Do you have a problem where Roger can help you? Then send an email to rogery.dobbit.b.